Welcome to Compassionate Conversations, where we push the boundaries of comfort to empower you to become all that you dream of being. What do I believe keeps people stuck in unhealthy relationship patterns? I will sum that up in 2 words: bad training. This is the premise of Dump That Chump. What we are taught about relationships, what we deserve and what is possible is wrong. We just have bad training. Part of the 10 steps outlined in the book include a lot of exercises to help you get in touch with this stuff. The family of origin part is what we learn from our families, our primary role models for relationships. So typically, that looks like a mother and a father. We learn from dad what a man is in a relationship and what his role is. And we learn from our mother what a woman is in a relationship and what her role is. So, if you are a girl, you are most likely to follow what your mother did, put up with or experienced in her relationship. We grow up witnessing this relationship between our parents, and often unconsciously we decide that that is the blueprint for relationships for us. We soak up what relationships we see modeled in our families and think that that's how they work. Then we go out into the world as adults and we do what we know. And usually what we know is not very healthy. What we have learned is often unhealthy relationship patterns. On top of that, we have societal influences. Our ethnic background often has a huge role to play in how we view relationships as well. And then there is our socio-cultural environment, what society says we should be doing. So for a woman, let's say, what are we supposed to do? Examples include keeping a house clean, cooking meals, raising children, as well as often holding down a job. So we soak up all of those messages about how we should be in a relationship. We are also told that relationships give us our meaning in life and give us purpose, so we take the whole thing very seriously. The other thing I talk about in the book is what we tell ourselves about relationships based on all of the above factors. Typically, it's a recipe for flawed belief systems. We take those messages that we've soaked up and we run with them, and we come up with a kind of theory of relationships that we follow, and it's usually completely flawed. My job as a therapist is to help people to examine that belief system thoroughly and deeply to unearth what is there. The book is really about examining what we believe about relationships and realizing what is possible outside of what we've been taught and really going for that. For example, for a woman when she was growing up who witnessed her mother being abused by her father, she learns that women are abused by men and that that is acceptable. She comes to think that this is how men and women react to each other in relationships, and she expects that for herself someday. That sets her up to think about what she deserves. In this example, this woman learns that she should expect women to be treated badly by men, and that this is what she deserves. And often her ethnicity and her religion backs her up on that and says that she's not allowed to divorce someone, even if he beats her. Then you set your expectations accordingly, and you go out there and you find that person that reminds you of your father, say. It's our comfort zone. Even though it may be unhealthy, it feels familiar, and so we are drawn towards it. So that is the kind of person we will attract because we're putting that energy out there and they sense it. I partly wrote this book because the personal is political, and I had quite a rocky history of unhealthy relationships myself when I was younger. I also felt compelled to write it because I had worked with hundreds of women who had the same unhealthy relationship patterns that they kept repeating and were completely stuck in them, and I wanted to help them become unstuck and find healthy partners and relationships. Brain research increasingly shows that what we think is possible is what we end up getting in life. And that's really the core of this book. We need to change our thinking. It comes back to the concept of bad training. The meat of this book is learning to retrain our own brains. If you don't believe a healthy relationship is possible for you, how are you ever going to have one? If you don't believe you deserve a fabulous partner, how are you going to get one? Dump That Chump is really about examining what you believe about relationships and what you were taught, and then working through the muck, figuring out what is working for you, what you want to hang on to, and what's outdated, what is not working for you anymore, and what you need to let go of. In the book, I give you hands-on practical tools to do just that. Here's an example from the book as a teaser. Typically, women tend to go for the person that they find exciting. This can be a dangerous person. I find that many women are addicted to this excitement. They get this amazing high from picking a person like this. And then there's this horrible crash. That's what it's like to date somebody who's abusive. We confuse initial charisma and charm with excitement and are drawn to that energy at first. We tend to not even notice the people who would be good for us because those are the ones that we would call boring. I'm saying in this book, check out the slow lane. The slow lane is actually where all the action is. It's the ones that you think are boring and the ones that you would never be attracted to that are probably the right kind of people for you. I'm really rooting for the nice people in this book. They're the ones that we sadly overlook when we have this relationship pattern. In short, I want to help you change your mind about what is possible in relationships. I want you to stop playing small. I want you to start taking ownership of your relationship destiny. I see so many people settling, thinking, well, this is the best I can do. I think you can do a whole lot better. This book will give you the tools so that you can do that. Do yourself a favor and get it. You can find it at dumpthatchump.com.